Hi everyone, it's me again. This time I'm going to be doing a book review on a certain series called The Fear Street Saga by R.L. Stine back in 1993. It's a trilogy, three books discovering about the history of, you guessed it, Fear Street. So, I'm going to be giving about my opinion of this without having tried to do much spoilers for most of you people. So let's start with the first book here, The Betrayal. It's what I call probably, and probably for most other fans of this series, probably the best one, I would say, out of all three of them. This one, this series pretty much takes place as a story within a story as the main narrator. As you can see here on the cover, Nora Goody, she's the one who explains the history of the family background of the Fears and how that leads to Fear Street being made. So in this book one, her first part, she explains that it's about during the Salem witch trials of two Fear brothers who started the curse by having two innocent girls being killed a- as witches, in which this caused a whole reactory of anger and hatred that led to a curse of revenge that it affects everyone. That includes the Fears, their descendants, and pretty much also their enemies and acquaintances, those who surround themselves with fears. They are also partly affected too. And the reason why I like this one so much actually because it was very successful, or perhaps it's because it's the first one in the series, and usually you're the always hooked on in the first book. So yeah, this one pretty much it had a lot of stuff that I like, especially historical fiction. I try to get into more of those, but yeah, historical fiction, as I said already, Salem witch trials, and there's also compared to the regular history. This one has a little bit more. Well, I wouldn't say violence, but a little bit more goriness in the descriptions of how the killings happen. And you can't really help but feel a little bit sorry for some of these people in here because they really had nothing to do, several of them had nothing to do with this, and it's what led to this whole thing just because of one mishap, one little selfish intent that occurred. But yeah, I would recommend if anyone wants to read this, start with this book first. Always it's better off, easier. Then we're on to the second one here, The Secret. This one is also a two-story, also continuing from the first. Well, at least the first part half continues from the first book, talking about how the later descendants of the Fear brothers discover about the truth of their old village that they live in and the family's history. However, it's believed as here that one of the fears found a way to probably end the curse, but I'll let you read that to figure it out yourself. Then moving on from that, the second story is, well, I wouldn't say the second story is too interesting. It pretty much lost its magic by then because of well, time gap that it was made 100 years later after the first story. It moves on to a new one, and it was okay. The second story was okay, but it started losing some interest mid the way through because of how it was. I kind of felt it was a little bit more slow, or did not have that much suspense that I had in the first one. Yeah, so this one it would probably be, I would say, the most forgettable one out of all of the three, unfortunately. Then we have on to the final and third book, The Burning, in which we go back again. It's continuing from the second one. So whatever the second story left now, it continues now to this guy, as you all know now, as Simon. and it deals with pretty much three parts. First one in here is talking about how he courts, and I quote, courts his wife. The second one is how he has a family now, and how it ends up he discovers his enemy is still alive. And I'll let you get into now what happens, what you can explain. Then the dude part is where we're back to the main character, her, Nora, and how she is actually involved in all this. What actually happened, and how she's the only one who seems to know. And pretty much the that part was really interesting. It brought back everything that the first book had. Really good. A little bit upsetting and tragic to see about some of these people, but also it's a good work of historical fiction. I really like historical fiction stuff. Yeah, and you can practically the way it was written, you could practically just see everything, just like see everything in your head. It's a whole imagery of pretty much. I'll just say this: each book has a lot of fire dealt with, pretty much a lot of fire. So yeah, that's pretty much how these are. You can actually get these online for a cheap price. Actually, they're really good. I recommend this to any R.L. Stine fan, or at least any Fear Street fans who never read these before. They're like the best, and hopefully you can also catch up onto the spin-off series that they include. Oh yes, I forgot. There was one thing I forgot to mention last is that each of these three books also they include a Fear family timeline. Not like the one that people say is in the collector's edition. This is rather just only for several people, not all the fears, but most, but the main important ones in this story, as you can see. And with each book, you get introduced to more characters. Each one it continues down further on to new characters, or at least I can say this, the new protagonists, as you can say. And yeah, it's a pretty long line, as you can see. Very, very good, actually. It was quite helpful when trying to understand some of the people in here. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I recommend this to all. Very good series, and yeah, if you like horror, you can try this, or you just want it in for the whole violence thing in here, then yeah, try it out. Anyway, thanks for watching, and goodbye.